we saw a large increase in the number of jobs performed, large jobs, installed jobs, essentially, for service contractors in that first 9-month window of COVID. So you could make the assumption that it was because people were home for the first time in a long time, and they wanted their homes to be as comfortable and as much to their own personal desires as possible. So what I think you have right now is going on is you've got a situation where pent-up demand was satisfied in that window, and it doesn't need to be just that 9 months, but call it 2 years, right? Post-COVID 2 years, and now interest rates coupled with the demand being satisfied, all the pent-up demand being satisfied, you've got a lull in demand. While there's a lull in demand, that doesn't mean it's a drought. It doesn't mean you have to go without any demand. You just have to know how to get it better. You have to be smarter. You can't just sit back and wait for it to come to you. There's actually a number of factors playing into that, obviously. So you've got the macroeconomic situation with inflation and credit, tightening and so forth. Many customers use financing in order to perform large work. In fact, I think I was reading something this past week that said that if a job is over $400, you ought to offer, as a service contractor, you ought to offer financing to it. And I think that's a little low, frankly, but certainly you could extrapolate that into the thousands. If a job is above a certain number of thousands of dollars, you should offer financing to it. Now, financing has gotten more expensive because the interest rates are up, and what that means is that it's going to cost more over a longer period of time in order to pay off that job. The number of people that own homes, the number of homes in general in this country is an ever increasing number, and therefore, kind of simple math would suggest that if every home needs maintenance, which we all know they do, then the number of jobs available to service contractors has to be going up. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be equally distributed across every year, every season, or anything like that. But if you know how to mine that data, and you know how to bring those demand, elements out, there's no shortage of work available.
Forever and always, the core of what LeadsNearby started at was one of my frustrations was I had spent all this money with a window company and only to never hear from them again. Meaning they came, they installed the windows, but I kind of felt used. I had more money to spend with them, but they decided that I wasn't as important as them going out and spending thousands on their marketing to get new customers in the door, which is fine. I understand that. But as a customer, I felt betrayed, I guess, to a certain extent. And it is imperative that clients, contractors specifically, understand their value in that home. I want to recommend them to other people. I want to spend more money with them. I've chosen them. I did all my research. I did all my trust signals. I wrote a review possibly. Like, I want to spend more money with you or recommend others spend money with you because of my experience. In all honesty, that is one of the biggest opportunities in the future is coming from is people don't go to Google first anymore. Some people do, there's no doubt, but you're gonna search your archives, your brain. Hey, who did I do business with before? Who have I left a review for? Who's Aunt Lucy used, or who's Uncle Jim had over to the house, right? Did they trust them? Did they do a good job? These are things that are going through the mind of the consumer, and one of the reasons is there are a number of contractors out there, none of our clients, but the people who don't have a license to do business, right? Have a screwdriver and a truck and get out there and they think they can do this job for cheap. they've hurt the industry. People are less likely to trust now and more likely to seek multiple trust signals at this point. That's why your customer base is a goldmine. If you're listening to this in 2024, make it a goal for accurate information going into your system, into your dispatch system, it is absolutely imperative that you have the correct information on your customers and how they've done business, questions that they've asked, observations that you've made in the home. Oh my gosh, you've heard the term garbage in, garbage out. If you are allowing your technicians in the field to do the bare minimum, you will get the bare minimum out of it. I'll tell you this right now. If you have a referral program and are not coaching on it every single time you get the opportunity, even if it's an internal conversation that you're having, I want you to have cards that you hand out that is use QR codes. It absolutely has to be part of your future marketing efforts. And it goes right back to the original thought. If you have proven yourself to that client, they are more likely to refer you. And the easier that you make that, the better. But you cannot say, I have a referral program and whatever, $50 off, $25 off, and not coach on it, not track it. Never assume that your technicians and your CSRs and the people in contact with your clients are doing everything that you ask. Coach on it, train on it, role play with it, because that, my friends, is one of the biggest missed opportunities out there.
We all know that in communication, the single most important word in the English language is the word you. When a company is using marketing automation, and like Mark said, they have good data and they are able to take that data and segment it into custom and personalized buckets, if you will. Any communication that you put into that then is speaking directly to the you of each customer. And there's no better way to nurture your relationship with that customer than to speak their language in ways that it is personalized and more important to them. Now, the other part of it is this whole idea of targeting. This actually even gets back a little bit to the referral component and the repeat business and such like that. One of the things that it's very nuanced, but one of the things Mark didn't bring up in that conversation is the fact that there are multitudes of ways for customers to begin their journey looking for a reputable service contractor. It doesn't all start at Google, like Mark said.
Correct.
But not only that, service contractors, the entire industry of service contractors has gotten much, much more sophisticated in the last 10 years in terms of how they are marketing. To be a leader in marketing now in your area it isn't sufficient just to have a website and expect that, oh, that's enough, everybody's going to come find me. You need to be better. You need to be looking at different ways and things like that. And so in terms of the best thing, the most advanced thing, the thing that is going to lead the charge into 2024, it is this automation. It is this personalization. It is this customized targeting, nurturing of relationship with respect to customers, and that is very, very powerful.
It's a powerful thing. I'm looking for as many reasons to do business with somebody as I am looking for reasons not to do business with somebody as a consumer. Don't give me any reasons not to do business with you.
That is absolutely true. Consumers are now marketed to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have been for decades. They are highly observant and capable of evaluating things subliminally that you wouldn't even recognize, if you weren't paying attention to it. So yes, don't give them any reasons to avoid working with you, for sure.
Don't do that. Google wants to show results that make them money. Now, the advent of AI in Google search results is not going to be who's paying Google the most. It's who is going to make Google the most money. And remember that, because when you are the information resource, when you are where Google goes to get the information that it displays to the clients, to the searchers, you win. If you want to be the quintessential expert on your topic and in your area of the country. How do you do that? By being honest, by looking at the content on your website, being open about it, talking about the hard subjects that you've never wanted to talk about before. Pricing. I cannot tell you how many people, I don't display my pricing. If you don't, somebody else is gonna. Be the leader. Be the thought leader. That is where search is going. Now, the search displays you've known and come to love, and the 3-pack and the 6, it was a 7-pack at one point. Like, there's so many different ways Google is displaying data. Pretty soon, it's going to be kind of a mix of sponsored and organic and free, right? You want to be the expert. You want to be sought after by Google for the information. That will lead you to the top. That is where we are taking our clients. That's why I encourage you, if you're watching this and you're not a client of ours, be looking at your website as, am I the authority in the area? Now, the future of search is still in flux. Google, how many times did Google update, Bob, this year?
There have been four main updates, which is high, and many others. I'll just say that while our evaluation criteria of stuff like this is inherently different, I wouldn't disagree with anything Mark said. Every time I have an opportunity to evaluate where I think things are going, the primary method I'm using now is, in fact, as Mark said, to try and anticipate, how these various pieces fall together so Google can continue to increase revenue. That is, it was more subtle in years past.
Yeah,
I would say up until maybe 3 years ago, it was fairly subtle how they made changes. Some of them were a little more overt, like when they added, ads directly to the right-hand column or whatever. But that's going back like a decade now. In this last 3-year window, there have been more fundamental changes than I've seen ever in 20 plus years of doing this.
Yep.
Even before Google existed, the changes were not as rapid and significant. Just this week, obviously this is not in the article, but just this week, Google announced 2 fairly significant things that are going to have impact, and I can't anticipate how. The first one is that they've added a follow button, right? Now you can, and it's not completely rolled out yet, but you're going to be able to do searches and then follow those searches in the future. Wow, that has downstream impacts, right? So now you can basically customize your search history and keep it up there for updates. I don't know what the implications are for that. There's only so much real estate. The other one is not well known yet. In fact, I'm not sure that everybody, even in our company, is aware of it. But Google is adding something called notes to search results. You're going to actually, as a user, you're going to actually be able to add notes to a search result that could then be public. What that means is essentially search results are not your own anymore. Even generic search results could be user generated content from anybody, and God only knows how that can be abused. So,
well, if you look at it, Bob, a lot of those elements that they just talked about we're part of Google Business Profile,
They are. Yes, that's
right?
accurate.
You can
Yep.
follow somebody on there. You can ask questions on there, get answers from anybody in the United
You are paying
States.
attention,
wherever.
my friend. I was going to make that same. I was going to make that same leap. Yeah. Testing on Google Business Profile, generalizing it to search. Yeah,
Right.
that's scary.
Also, what you're going to have, if you are not at the top of this, if you're not controlling this, if you are not paying attention to it, you are going to have others answering questions for you, competitors making notes on stuff, right? If you are not there, be part of the conversation. Don't let somebody else control the narrative.
Not
So-
only do you now need to monitor your reviews and reputation, you're actually going to actively need to monitor the search results for accuracy as your own voice is portrayed.
And with anything Google, get ready for the abuse. As soon as the abuse starts happening, they're going to present an update to try to limit the abuse. Google's updates are to prevent people from spamming and stopping them. They're trying to stop the spammers, the people trying to get one over on Google. Don't try to cheat the system.
The FTC does have a projected rule set for review guidelines now. It is out there as of June, I think late June of this year. It's not active yet, but you can definitely predict that Google and the other large platforms are going to crack down even further on review violations as they anticipate and can corroborate them. And there may very well be significant fines available in the future. I would anticipate that the FTC will come out with a rule sometime in early 2024, and that rule will have teeth. It will come with fines and things like that. So not only could you then, if you're maliciously or somewhat acting somehow badly in review gathering, not only are you eligible for having the platforms delist you and such, but you could face significant fines and such like that from the government. So not worth the game.
Bottom line, earn your reviews, good or bad, and learn from them.
Yep.
Google gives you tools to run your business, right? Google Local Services, they want you going in there and booking the leads that come from it. Why? Why do they want you booking these calls? Because they want insight into how much money did you make? Are they sending good leads, right? How much more money can I charge you for that? They're learning as you go through this. Google Business Profile is no different. If you are set and forget, they're going to forget you. If you are interacting with GA4, Google Business Services, Google Business Profile, if you are interacting with Google products in general as a holistic approach, you are more likely to be shown in search results because Google wants to reward you for such loyalty. Now, that does not mean that that's all where your leads are going to come from. That is one thing, that is one element that you should be paying attention to. Don't ignore your Google Business Profile. Be active in it. Update it. Be unique. Try to showcase your results, your wares. They've got all kinds of constantly putting updates out there. Pay attention to the data in there. If it is not up to snuff, if you look at your own profile and go, "Hey, where's that going? Or what's that doing? What's that phone number?" Ask questions of your team, right? Call us. Like that, my friends, is honestly, your Google Business Profile is probably one of the most important things you can do and keep maintained online right now. As we just alluded to and showed you, Google is using this as a testing ground and oftentimes, and will impart that for the future, right? All those questions and answers on your Google Business Profile, guess where you're going to see them now? We're trying to answer these questions. Google wants to show that result. So that's my take on it. And when I say use it, download the Google Maps app, and every week post a photo, post an update, take a team photo, take a photo of you right next to an air conditioning system or a water heater. Like anything that keeps you engaged with your profile, you will reap the benefits from.
You know, Google is the 800-pound gorilla, right? There is nothing about this that is purely market driven, right? It is not. It was not in the. It was not because companies demanded these things that Google is building these features and
Right.
preferential such into Google Business Profile. So it now is part of the organic search. It's part of the map search. It really feeds into everything. This is, like Mark said, this is to feed into the Google ecosystem. And it's partly why they're on trial right now in the antitrust suit, because of this type of behavior. But you can't begrudge a company that is providing such value to the market. They're a public company. They have to be a public company. I mean, they have to, you change how public companies are incentivized, and you'll change the behavior public companies have. This is the best we have.
They're a for-profit firm. I say it all the time. It's not a public service.
I guess that's probably the easiest way to phrase it. They're not a public. It is not a utility, right? It is a private company attempting to develop as much of a market share as it can and derive as much revenue from that market share as it can, up to and including when it gets a slap on the wrist. I mean, that's how it has to be. It can't be any other way. Yeah, so there's a lot of places that we are using, not just streaming, things like other platforms, Nextdoor and such like that. Streaming is an area that is of interest because it's digital, it's trackable, and it is not as widely competitive yet in our service lines as some other things might be. I mean, radio ads and billboards and things like that have been around forever. Therefore, more contractors are aware of them, and you could find more people using them. I think things like Hulu and other streaming services are still a little bit, more hidden from the average contractor, and therefore represent a little more opportunity to capitalize on it. But it's only a short window. I mean, in another year or two, even that competition will probably close the gap. So,
well, I'm going to go one beyond that too. It is part of everything that you should be doing. When you are seen in multiple places, I just did this research there that when I was coming up through the ranks, if you will, prior experience, I was always taught 3. 3 was the magic number. If you got your message out in front of one person 3 times, right, you had a better chance of that person remembering you, remembering your ad, and calling you because of it. Today, that number is close to 7. 7 exposures before that person calls you. How do I do that, right? If you are using one thing, just Google pay-per-click, that's your marketing avenue. That's one area, and you got to hope that person sees you 7 times before they click on your ad. You better be giving away $1,000 bills, my friend, if you want it any sooner than that. That is why your brand on video services like YouTube Shorts or TikTok, being in Nextdoor, Bob mentioned, being on pay-per-click, being involved in your community. These things all impact on that 7th. They might not be ready for you, but after that 7th time, and they are ready for you, you have a higher likelihood of being chosen from that list of people that they have in front of them. Then when Uncle Jim and Aunt Susie say anything, right? Oh, yeah, I saw them. Or, yeah, you start making the connections in your brain as to where you've seen their message or where you've heard their message, etc. I was just on a Facebook group watching, and some guy started running radio campaigns. No, he didn't have a special running. He was just kind of a branding thing. He noticed his uptick in leads 2 to 3% on a daily basis. It was a pretty big company. You telling me that just running a radio campaign, not making any offers, actually increased all of his other marketing 2 to 3%? That was a big number at the end of the day. But it's all holistic. It's a holistic marketing approach that you need to be going after today. Don't rely on one place. Don't look at one thing and go, oh, that's the holy grail. It's a multitude of things. Election years, cost of money right now is up, inflation's up, economic impacts are going to have it. Bob, you just sent around, and we were noticing it, right? There's an inverse relationship happening right now. People still need things done on their home, but they're more willing today to take the cheaper option than they were just a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. They're more likely to take the cheaper option when it comes to fixing something than the more expensive option where they might have chosen just 2 years ago. A lot of our clients are trained, and I can't agree with it more on giving a good, better, best. What my prediction is, you're going to see a lot of people taking that good offer, that lower price. They're scared. They are. And what you can do to get over their frightened, state, is understand that going in. It's a psychological event. Any sales event is. Understand the psychology of that person that you're talking to, right? Yeah. And it just so happens an election year. Anytime you get a chance to talk to a client, be sure that you're offering them financing, you're offering them means to achieve their desired result that doesn't break their bank.
Our Primo algorithm is a response to clients asking to have more knowledge of how they interrelate with their service area. Where are the opportunities? Where is my market share? How do I get it more? How do I improve it?
Yep.
What are the remaining opportunities that I have left? And can any of them be priority over others? So we took demographics, we took driving time, and we took the client's data set when it's available, and we merged that through an algorithm, and using that we can predict if a client comes to us and says, I want to grow 30% next year from X to Y in revenue, we can actually tell them what zip codes should be responsible for how much of that increase.
As online marketers, I've always wanted to know, like, where should I put the billboard? Where should I go and sponsor something in my community? I'll be able to point on a map, hey, this is your target demographic. This is where we need more market share, and this is where we want to spend our ad dollars in. Holy cow, is that a powerful combination?
The reason why LeadsNearby is a leader in the service contractor marketing space is because we know and we've developed proprietary solutions for geographic and service area targeting, and Primo is the latest in that trend.
There's some change coming in the review space. No longer will you be able to get away with fake reviews, paying for reviews, anything like that. There's going to be a crackdown on it. Be prepared. Earn your reviews. Don't be afraid to ask for them. You have to know that when you go to a home and you provide exemplary work and you go above and beyond, it is perfectly and legitimately fine to ask for a review. But always and forever, people will reward people, not companies. Your technician in the field, your CSR that answered the phone, your happy call person after the fact, those are the people that will earn the review. Not your brand, not your logo, not you, those people. And when you remember that, and when your technicians and your CSRs, and When they all realize that, that is when you earn the review. Never stop asking for it. It will become quintessential and imperative as you move forward. Not only for new clients coming in, reviews are like the original referral, right? You always want to, hey, say something nice about us. I just did. I put it out there to thousands to read.
Mm-hmm.
But the more they can say, the more in-depth it is, the images, they can upload photos on Google in the reviews. Like, take advantage of that. Be encouraging that. And have fun with it. And this is the biggest misnomer in review history. It is not the number of reviews. You don't win with the number of reviews. You just don't. And the algorithm then, hey, if I have 100 reviews and they have 500, why am I ranked below or above? No. You want positive and consistent reviews. Not all at once, not 30 in one day, consistent. Don't get discouraged because one person has 1,000 reviews and you have 100. It's not that they go through and they read all of your reviews. They don't. They're looking for the trust signal. Hey, Uncle Jim just told me that I got to use XYZ HVAC company. Great. Thank you very much. What is the first thing that most people do? You run over to Google or Facebook and you look to see if they're a real company, what kind of company they are. Oh, they got a couple. Oh, look, they got 300 reviews. Oh, there's a 4. It's a 4.9. Awesome. Where are you guys even located? Like, I'm going to go check out your website now, right? I might need 3 proofs, trust proofs, before I go and reach out to you. Oh, it's a nice looking website. Yeah, there are guys who are professional. That's a good looking truck. Okay, come on over. Let me give them a call. Who got credit for the lead? Uncle Jim mentioned you. You went through 2 other avenues, and now when they call up and go, hey, how'd you find us? Well, I found your website. They don't remember all the time. They might have saw a truck go by. Anything. That is why being in multiple places, having an established brand, and being recognized is extraordinarily important. For anybody listening to this, I want you to do yourself a favor. I want you to go to Google and I want you to search for bear deterrent, BEAR, like bear, the grizzly bear. And do yourself a favor and tell me who you're going to choose from that search results page. 7 out of 10 of you will have chosen Amazon, and they're not the first listing. Why? Because Amazon has built the brand that you're going to get it in 2 days, and there's some reviews there of the services of the product. They have that. It's in your head. Bear Smart or Bear Mart. Look, there's a lot of others on that page, but they didn't do the branding necessary for you to choose them. That is what's going on in your customer's head. They are looking at the search results and again trying to decide who they should do business with and not. They're trying to equate back to something that they recognize. Oh, they're a Little League sponsor. Oh, I saw their ad at the high school football game. Oh man, they're sponsoring the band. Oh man, I saw them at they had a booth at the 5K run. Like, little things like that mean something in the big picture. They encourage people to choose you from the search results page, even if you're not number 1. Be part of the community. Have your logo, have your brand elsewhere. It impacts everything else that you're doing. I'm going to start, and Bob's going to finish this. I'm skeptical of AI. And the reason I'm skeptical of AI is because it's artificial intelligence. What's artificial? It's fake. It's fake intelligence. How much can you trust what's coming out? Now, everybody's running to it. Why? Because it makes their job technically easier. If you are looking today and what it's good for, if you're looking for a good summary tool, hey, I want to summarize some things going on, it will do a very good job for you. Don't rely on it. It's not a thinking tool yet. And the key word there was yet. Bob did some extraordinary investigative work on this that showed kind of the evolution of where AI is and is going. Bob, correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, it's about 25% of what it is ultimately going to be.
Well, the future is artificial general intelligence. This is artificial specialized intelligence still. Anyway, the basic premise behind AI right now is that a human using AI is probably more efficient than a human not using AI. But both require the human, right? That's the single biggest takeaway. AI is still a tool. It's a tool that can make things more efficient. We embraced it. We have AI being used in multiple areas of our business, but nothing in our business is done strictly by AI. It is
Correct.
always done interpretively through a human, both beforehand and after the result comes back, right? So it isn't a standalone yet. It isn't ready to be used in a standalone sense. And you don't really need me to tell you that. All you got to do the headlines where, the lawyer gets sued for having processed his brief through AI, or a medical professional tries to diagnose somebody and only uses AI. And, those are cautionary tales of trying to circumvent humanity in the use of AI, and again, yet is the operative word here. There may be a time in the future where that's not the case, but it is not right this minute.
I'll tell you, when you call any of these big companies and you get that automated attendant, press 1 for, press 2 for, we didn't hear you, right? You get this? How frustrated are you by the time you get a live person on the phone? Pretty frustrated.
Always.
That is not too dissimilar. If you're reading a bunch of content that's saying the same thing over and over again, and it's not got the human element behind it, the why, the trust, you know what? People are going to start not liking what they're reading, and AI is going to fall off. Is there a place for it? Absolutely. But it should not be, it should not be the main driver at this moment in time. I don't know if it ever will be. I believe it will be more and more part of what our ecosystem is and how we do business, but I don't believe it. I still strongly believe that people come before automation.
So I'll make two statements on this additionally. One is for clients, for any clients who are considering replacing marketing people or internal staff with AI. I would caution against either of those. That's not likely to yield you a positive benefit. No. Additionally, replacing your CSRs with AI is also a problem for the reason Mark just said. It takes the personal touch out of it. Everyone still prefers dealing with a person whenever possible, and you're going to get much better benefit out of it that way.
There is a place for AI. Don't make it the head of the spear.
If you're a service contractor and you're worried about AI replacing you, that's not likely anytime soon either, right? I mean, think about what would have to happen for that to be the case. Now, on the other hand, as I said before, a human using AI is probably more efficient and effective than a human not using AI. But that is also going to be true in service contractor use itself. Yes. Be alert and be aware of tools that are coming out for your use to assist you in diagnosing or doing things more efficiently, more effectively, harnessing your people in the field to either generate quotes faster or more effectively, determining what products you have on hand, your inventory and things like that. All those things you might be able to get some extra benefit for. Those are not our sphere of influence per se, but you don't have to worry about being replaced. What you do need to do is be aware of how you might best use AI in your own work to be more efficient or more profitable to do so.
If it is during the day, Bob just alluded to this. If it is during the day and you have an AI answering the phone, right? Just answer the phone, be personable. I get it. Track lines. I get, dial 1-4. I get some of that. But don't triple hop a call. Don't let somebody on the phone for 2 minutes before somebody answers the phone. Like, still do all the normal things. If it's after hours and you find that an AI might be helpful, or you want to send out a blast to your maintenance agreement members and AI is the voice, sure, I understand some element of that. But people want to talk to people. And we are in a demand industry, right? People don't call you generally because they have $4,000 burning a hole in their pocket. They call you because they got water where it's not supposed to be. There's electricity or no electricity where it's not supposed to be, or you're hot and you're cold and you don't want to be. They pick up the phone. They want to hear sympathy. They want to hear empathy. They want to hear, hey, oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, we were you're oh, poor dear. Let me help you. Like, they want that because they know they're going to get good service from you. If you go down that AI path too far, you risk alienating people who don't want that experience, etc. But again, all of this is yet. We might be trained over the next 10 years to accept this, but it's not today.
Most of this stuff is interrelated. Right?
Yes.
And Mark actually spoke to this earlier. If you're thinking of marketing as a single channel, a single tactic, you are very likely to be disappointed in how things work out for you. You really need more so than ever before in service contracting. The industry that. One of the reasons we picked service contractors 14 years ago to work with them is because virtually no one else was. That's not true. And now, and not only that, but the service contractors themselves have gotten far more knowledgeable about how to meet with customers where they are, and how to satisfy them. Everything has gotten more and more complicated and sophisticated, and it's not unusual as an industry matures. Marketing in general is an old industry, but digital marketing is only 20 years old for the most part, 25. And so 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was still a relatively, immature market. Not a lot of tools, not a lot of knowledge, not everybody was adopted. That's not true now. I was just having a conversation with a family member over in Germany, and I spoke to somebody else over in Italy. Years ago, they didn't have websites for anything. I mean, for businesses, for stuff like that. That wasn't the case. In the last 3 to 4 years, everybody there even now has websites for local businesses. So you start talking about maturing. It's not just a United States event. It's an international event. The rising tide lifts all boats. The competition has become, that rising tide. And in order to stay ahead of it, above it, keep floating, you need to be aware of many different avenues and tactics, methods to contact and make connection with your customer base.
Let me preface that with
make it easier.
I'm not saying it's not making it easier, Bob. What I want to give a real world example.
It probably is.
Look at the people that are doing very, very well. You know them, you follow them, the Hobaikas of the world, the LBAs, the clients of ours that are doing very, very well. What we have is I have clients, I have new companies coming into the market, I have existing companies, and they look up to these guys and they say, hey, I want what they have, and what they don't do is what that company did. You can't just hire a LeadsNearby or a marketing company and I sprinkle magic fairy pixie dust on top of you and you become the next Hobaika, right? Lou Hobaika was part of the culture. He created a culture internally. He is part of it. You'll like a Hobaika. He created a brand. He was not afraid to put himself on billboards with a pigeon sitting on his head. all of these items, all of these things integrate. They all become part of your persona. And if you are just focused on one and not looking at the whole, you will never be them. You will never grow up to have a company like they do, right? The biggest, the best companies still today are involved in their community. They are in multiple areas, running billboard, have a radio campaign possibly, might even be on the radio themselves, including a gorgeous website, including reviews, including your Google business profile, maybe having an ad campaign running. Like all of these things combined are what you need to be doing, but don't do them all at once. Work with your marketing agency. Okay, you can't run out and run a billboard, a radio campaign. If you're there's triggers, right? As you get bigger, you need to be adding some of those things in. Early on, there are things that you could be doing, just guerrilla marketing tactics that are going to be extraordinarily powerful for you. Okay, no, you can't start a company, build a website, and have everybody come to it. It doesn't work that way. 10 years ago, yeah. You could build a website and people stumble onto it and call you. Today, no. That's just one element. What more can we be doing? What more can you be doing? If your mindset is, I hired a marketing company and they're off doing it, they're taking care of it, change your mindset. Be part of the solution. Be part of what that marketing company is doing for you. Don't assume.
My one soundbite here would be, there's no shortcut to success.
There really isn't.
You have to put the work in.
You're absolutely right, Bob. In closing, I appreciate everybody that's listening to this. When you start being part of the solution, when you start talking to your marketing team and understanding that we want to partner with you, not vendor with you, you will reap the benefits tenfold. And it will be less expensive in the long run.
Thank you for watching. Learn more at LeadsNearby.com.